Okay, well, welcome to Smash Factor's YouTube channel. I am going to start posting on here more often as a longer format than just on our Instagram account. So this video today is talking about my philosophy for golf-specific fitness training. So I've been a strength and conditioning coach for 20 plus years and I've owned gyms and all that time. And I live by a simple philosophy that I think is across all sports and absolutely specific to our sport of golf. And that is stronger is always better as long as mobility is maintained. Okay? So simple premise, stronger does not mean bigger. Stronger is the ability to move more load in any given task that you're trying to accomplish. So squatting a bar up and down, or pulling a bar up from the ground, or pressing, dumbbells lying down on a bench, whatever the case may be. As long as we maintain mobility, stronger is always better. And that is vital when we're talking about golf. Now, a little caveat in there is if someone comes in and they've been like bro training, so doing bodybuilding style workouts or whatever for a lot of years, and their mobility is poor through the chest because all they do is bench press and have for a long time, we don't want to, I will give up the strength of the chest for that player's golf game for a little bit in order to acquire more mobility through that movement pattern. So then there's times where that's absolutely applicable, and really the chest would be the most one, because that's the one that if this gets tight, this gets forward, and we get into bad places, and that dude kind of posture really affects your ability to get in the right places in the swing. So that's one caveat in there, that there is times where we'll say, hey, let's take bench press down to 1 day a week, and let's really work on more your scap and backside, and just use that time to kind of try and open up the chest. So we may lose some strength there to gain mobility, because that mobility pattern is more important. And that's also a very important note is we've obviously seen 160-pound guys, hit it 320 in the air because they have so much mobility and so much kind of general speed through the hips, and they're also probably quite strong for body weight. So certainly a movement pattern in the golf swing is more important than adding strength to the body for the golf swing. So we have to get to a certain standard of mobility through a bunch of different ranges so that we can properly set and sequence the golf swing. And that is certainly priority number one. But once we've reached that point, then how strong can we get while making sure we maintain those patterns? And that's how you hit the ball further. And that is what you've seen all over the PGA Tour for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's also what you're going to see now coming up on the LPGA Tour as well. Stronger is always better as long as mobility is maintained. So what does that mean specifically for golf training? So the old way of golf fitness, and there's still people that are doing this, and it's no knock on them, it's just not my philosophy, is that everything you do in a golf fitness training session is some sort of rotational work that factors directly into the golf swing. And as much as the player may like that and feel like it's super specific to it, if you're, say, a junior golfer who's competitive, who's practicing most days and playing a tournament every weekend, you are already rotating 6 or 7 days a week. So my biggest concern is to not over-rotate you in a training program, and make sure that we work on the motor pattern that hasn't been getting used a lot, and that's much more linear strength pieces. Squatting, deadlifting, pressing, whatever the case may be, because that's the low-hanging fruit. And that also means that I am not going to wear out the rotational muscles all throughout the weeks of training sessions when we're already swinging and doing all that kind of work on the range, especially in season. So there is a place for rotational golf-specific exercises, and certainly on my personal sessions and certainly in our group class stuff, that's making up at least 30% of our time is working those movement patterns. But we're also working on that pure traditional strength and conditioning training to making sure that we're rounding it out and making sure that the joints are healthy and the quads are strong and the shoulders are strong so that we can actually handle all the torque that we're putting into the golf swing. Okay, so that's my general philosophy at Smash Factor Obviously, all of this depends on the individual player and athlete. We do personal training, our Bulletproof program, and then we also offer small group classes, which is our Speed is King classes. And everything at Smash Factor starts with an evaluation session. So 30 minutes, you'll be on the sim bay here. I'll be evaluating your swing, both for movement, and then dependent if you're working already with a coach or not, we'll also talk some specific swing mechanics. If you are working with a coach, then I'll be much more just focused on how your body's moving, as we like to be an auxiliary piece of your training program with your PGA professional. If, again, you're not going to use me as your PGA professional, which is great. I have lots of players that work with fantastic coaches. Once we're done that, then we'll head over to the other side and we'll go through a full TPI movement screen. So Titleist Performance Institute, which I'm also certified for in their level 1 and power and speed training, as well as a bunch of other exercises that through my history, I also like to see athletes move through to get a real good sense for how the body's moving. And why that evaluation session is so important is it is either going to reaffirm what's happening in your golf swing, or you're doing something in your golf swing, yet you can get into the position fine on the other side of the studio in the screen test, and then that lets me know that, hey, we just need to get your arms more extended, or you try and get deeper, or you try and load into your trail side better. But if something does show up on the other side, really common for guys, we don't have full external rotation, we put our arm up in the air, it's way forward, and our golf club is across the line at the top, then we can start that conversation of, we got to try and do a shallower backswing, because the higher up we go, the more we're going to lose that pattern, with the understanding that we want to make that better so that we can gradually integrate more depth in your swing so you can hit the ball further, give yourself more time to square up the club face and so forth. So general overview, any questions, DM me, anything at smashfactorfitness.ca goes to me. And I hope you have a great day. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but hit a sub button on that bad boy. I'd love to get this YouTube channel going if I can get more consistent with posting. So leave a comment, do all those things, and have a great day.